People understand that also, and they were treated very badly. Nobody's been treated like that. So I'd be open to it.
Jennifer and Basil are both back with me. Basil, Trump still defending his pardoning after the rioters, even after he was called out by these police unions. You know, I'm reluctant to say that anything gets to Donald Trump, but it seems like this message is getting to Donald Trump because it seems that he overplayed his hand.
Yeah, he did, but we also knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And so, anybody that, I understand where the unions are, but they should not be surprised at the fact that he did this because he said he was going to do it. But I do want to focus on a partial part of their statement, which is the concern that it would, quote, embolden others to do harm to police officers. If you think about the ways in which Republicans have been messaging against Democrats, particularly around issues of crime, they always say that, Democrats don't know how to keep people safe. Well, guess what? The Republican president in the White House just pardoned people who did something that would be unthinkable at any other time in history. This is the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March. I was there. Not one of us stormed the Capitol. And you know what? We even cleaned up after ourselves. But if any of us had, I guarantee you I would not be sitting here talking to you today. But the fact that this has happened to those individuals for doing something that we all saw and we all thought was horrendous is everything you need to know about not only who this administration is, but of the ways in which people have essentially capitulated to his will. Yeah, and it also it reveals how powerful rewriting history can be now with the way information and disinformation is in this country, and that is extremely dangerous when you think that this just happened in the span of 4 years, rebranding this event from an insurrection into a peaceful protest, as some have called it. Jennifer, let me get your reaction from Speaker Mike Johnson in this defense. Watch.
The president's made his decision. I don't second guess those. And yes, it's kind of my ethos, my worldview. We believe in redemption. We believe in second chances. If you would argue that those people didn't pay a heavy penalty, having been incarcerated and all of that's up to you. But the president's made a decision. We move forward. There are better days ahead of us. That's what we're excited about. We're not looking backwards. We're looking forward.
Speaking of capitulation and not having a spine, I'm just curious to get your thoughts. You're a former Republican. What is your reaction to seeing the Republican Speaker of the House talk about believing in second chances for rioters and insurrectionists who assaulted the police and tried to overthrow a democracy?
And not second-guessing an elected leader of the country and looking forward. Now, Mike Johnson just established himself as the weakest, most pathetic, most hypocritical Speaker of the House in the history of our country. And we're talking about a history that included Kevin McCarthy in that role. That is a shocking response from a Republican, supposedly conservative Speaker of the House. We are talking, and I think it's really important to emphasize this part of it. These pardons are not for people who were trespassing out on the front lawn carrying a sign. These are people who are convicted of seditious conspiracy. These are leaders of the Proud Boys. These are people who, I think over 100 of them, 130 of them, who attacked police officers and had their day in court. They weren't just rounded up and shipped off to jail. They all, faced and had the access to the justice system in this country. And you made a comment. It was somebody, you or Basil referenced something about consequences or the cost of it. There is no cost to Donald Trump to these pardons. Losing the faith of the police association that has endorsed him 3 times, that means nothing to him. It's not like he's going to need their endorsement again in the future. And I am an enormous, sincere supporter of law enforcement officers in our country, of the justice system and the law enforcement system in this country. But they gave Donald Trump permission to take this kind of ugly, undermining, dangerous action by endorsing him a second and third time. They, unfortunately, whether they like it or not, they bear some of the responsibility here too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I personally don't believe that Mike Johnson's worldview allows for the redemption and forgiveness of a lot of young black men in prison in this country right now that are not in furtherance of a political ideology of President Trump. We all know that.
Just the Proud Boys.
Yes.
Just the Proud Boys for Mike Johnson. They deserve a second chance after attacking police officers who were protecting him at the Capitol. Yeah. It is shocking. At best, it is shocking.
Basil, Trump campaigned on backing the blue, obviously, and demonized people who were protesting on behalf of police brutality. It is clear the real message he's sent with these pardons is that he'll back the blue only if they back him.
Well, it's if they back him, right? He'll back who backs him.
Yeah.
And that's what's so incredibly dangerous. Let me go back to the redemption point. You know, I went to church too. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I also believe in penance before forgiveness. Like, shouldn't these people actually, serve their time before we blanketly forgive them for doing something that for the rest of the country and for every Democrat who's run around the country so incredibly unthinkable that you would actually protect someone that has harmed police officers. It's so troubling because, as you said, where is this notion of redemption for black men?
Who can't even vote in Florida after serving their time, you know?
The former Central Park Five, now the exonerated five, right? Yep. Didn't even earn the respect enough of Donald Trump before he condemned them to death.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about redemption for? For whom? What does that even mean these days?
Yeah, it's a joke when you hear Mike Johnson say it the way he did. And as you said, Jennifer, not even second guessing, as if you're not allowed to second guess elected officials in this country. Very North Korean vibe there from Speaker Mike Johnson. Jennifer Horn, Basil Michaels, great to see the both of you. Thank you as always. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Michigan Secretary